Okay, hello everyone. My name's Ryan Kroonenburg and I'm one of the instructors at Pluralsight. And if you want to pass the Certified Cloud Practitioner AWS exam on your first go, then watching this video is a must. So let's talk about the Certified Cloud Practitioner. It's also referred to as the CCP exam. Now, the target audience for the CCP exam is for absolute newbies to AWS Cloud. You don't require any experience whatsoever in order to take this exam. The exam length is about 90 minutes in length, and it has 65 questions in the exam. And the exam consists of multiple choice or multiple response questions. And the exam includes 15 unscored questions that do not affect your score. So you get 15 freebies on this exam. Now, what do you need to pass the exam? Well, basically, results for the exam are reported on a scaled score of 100 to 1000, and the minimum passing score for the exam is 700, so you need basically 70%. It's $100 for the exam, and you can do the exam either in a Pearson VUE testing center, or you can do it at home or at work using an online supervised exam. This is a proctored exam where basically somebody monitors you to make sure you're not reading any notes, that kind of thing. It's done using a webcam. So what's the best way to prepare for the exam? Well, as always, we always start with the AWS exam blueprint, which you can find on the AWS certification site. Now, when we open up the exam blueprint, we can see that there's 4 different domains. And these consist of cloud concepts, which is worth 24% of the exam. Domain 2 is security and compliance, which is worth 30% of the exam. Domain 3 is cloud technology and services, which is worth 34% on the exam. And then we've got billing, pricing, and support, which is only worth 12% of the exam. So let's go ahead and have a look at these different domains. So starting with domain 1, we've got cloud concepts, which is worth 24% of the exam. And so each domain is broken down into different task statements, which then have subsections of knowledge of and skills in. So for example, the first task statement in domain 1 is to define the benefits of the AWS cloud. So why should you use the AWS cloud? And this requires knowledge of the value propositions of AWS Cloud, as well as skills in understanding the economies of scale of cloud, such as the more that you consume, the cheaper the cloud becomes. Now, I highly recommend you go through and read the exam blueprint yourself and explore all the different task statements. Now, we'll summarize the different task statements here briefly, but it is worth going and reading yourself if you're going to go and do the CCP exam. So the other task statements for domain 1 are to identify design principles of the AWS cloud, understand the benefits and strategies for migration to the AWS cloud, and to understand the concepts of cloud economics. So like I said, the more that you spend, the cheaper it becomes. Moving on to domain 2, which is security and compliance, and this is worth 30% of the exam. And this is where you need to understand things like the AWS shared responsibility model, understand the AWS cloud security, governance and compliance concepts, identify AWS access management capabilities, and then to identify components and resources for security. Now, domain 3 is cloud technology and services, and this is worth 34% of the exam. Now here you need to define methods of deploying and operating in the AWS cloud. You need to define the AWS global infrastructure, so what's an availability zone, what's an edge location, for example. You need to identify AWS compute services, database services, network services, storage services, and AWS artificial intelligence and machine learning services. And then finally, you need to identify services from other in-scope AWS service categories. And so finally, we have domain 4, which is billing, pricing, and support. Now, this is only worth 12% of the exam. It's relatively simple. You basically just need to be able to compare the AWS pricing models. You need to understand resources for billing, budget, and cost management. And then finally, you need to identify AWS technical resources and what the different AWS support options are. And then finally, we have Appendix A and B at the end of the exam. Appendix A just simply shows a list of technologies and concepts that might appear on the exam. It doesn't mean every single one is going to. And then Appendix B shows the difference between the old exam and the new exam. So why don't we go ahead and have a look at how we at Pluralsight can help you pass this exam on the first go. Let's go over to the Pluralsight platform. Okay, so here we are on the Pluralsight landing page. Now to get to AWS, let's just click on Browse. We can see all our different certification services or courses here. And of course, we want Amazon Web Services. Now we can see here that we've got the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner as our top one, and it's a 14-hour course that includes a practice exam. So we go ahead and click on that. So we can see this course is broken down into 5 different courses. So we've got Cloud Foundations and Compute, Storage Networking and Databases, Deployment Migration and AI, Monitoring Security and Pricing, and then we've got our exam preparation in there. And if we click the About button, we can see our different authors. We've got David Blotcher, we've got Michael Cassidy, we've got Faye Ellis. So those are the 3 different authors that teach this course. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. Hopefully you have everything you need to know to get started on your AWS certification journey. And if you go and do the AWS CCP exam, I wish you the best of luck and I hope you pass on your very first attempt. Now, if you'd like to take the next step in your tech learning journey, please sign up for free tech skills courses below. My name's Ryan Kroonenburg and it's been wonderful talking to you today.